Hi, I'm Tom Harrison. Welcome to the performers. With us tonight is John Reilly, rhythm guitarist, lyricist, singer, and leader of Boy and a Dolphin, a band from Sheffield, England, just signed to Modern Records. And with us tonight, John, welcome.
Hi.
It's an unusual situation. I mean, first of all, you take on all these different roles. You are from England. You are based out of Vancouver and such. But are you comfortable with this particular setup as it is right now? That here you are. You've got a Vancouver manager. You're from England. It's like a transatlantic relationship.
Well, the situation at the moment, as far as the record company, the management, and where we come from, is sort of similar to the actual music, that we play. People listen to our music and listen to African influences and Spanish influences, and I suppose that's what happened in the end. We ended up with a Canadian manager, an American record label, and we're all based in the north of England. So it's weird, but like it seems normal now.
Sometimes I'm scared in this world that's so cold. We marry money to have and to hold, and dreams are stabbed by the cynical. I remember mama magical, dark angel of mystery. Did they take you to? 'Cause you could see right through them.
Maybe we should go right back to the beginning, because the name Boy and a Dolphin doesn't necessarily suggest a kind of a world music or a transatlantic type of music at all. It actually, I think of the film, with Sophia Loren, I guess, what, Alan Ladd was in?
Yeah, he was in the film, yeah.
I mean, where did the name come? Was it suggested directly by the film?
No, I didn't even know there was a film at the time. We were playing in a place called Bath in England. There was me and Andy and a couple of other guys, and we were looking to get the band together and looking for a name for the band, and it was a festival, and we had to help set up the stage. So we had to dig a hole in the ground to put the actual stage in, and Andy found a coin, an old Roman coin, which had a picture of a boy on a dolphin on, and ever since that day, like, we just thought, oh, well, that's our lucky coin. And
I've got friends in England. That's what they do,
yeah.
Right? That's how they make a little money on the side. Yeah.
You see people going around with those magnetic metal detectors,
yeah,
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the film since?
No, I actually do remember. All I can remember of the film is seeing Sophia Loren climb out the water with this wet shirt.
Well,
on,
that's what everyone watches the film for. It's just but also, I mean, and of course, just to find out how short Alan Ladd was. But the name itself it does have a kind of a Mediterranean feel, and there's a sunniness and a lightness, which I guess incidentally also in a similar way describes the music. So I guess it works out for you. I mean, having found the coin and come up with the name of the band, I mean, did it also suggest a sound or a direction for the band?
No, I don't think so. We really liked the image of the dolphin and what it represented, and the fact that once we heard that name, Boy and a Dolphin, we thought, well, people aren't going to forget this. And, a few people laughed when we told them what the name was at first, but nobody forgot what the name of the band was.
All I can do is hope that I'm not dreaming. Then I hold you near, whisper in your ear, pronto tengo que partir. The nights are longer than I can bear. Oh, in every town I wander around, wishing you were there. And oh, how I miss you. Yeah. And I count every second see you again. Oh, it still it seems you're in my dreams. With so much happening to me. Move from town, feet don't touch the ground, but somehow you cut right on through me. You talked of dangers and smile at strangers there for the ride. Oh, when I'm with you, somehow you push on through the image and the pride. And oh, how I miss you. Yeah, I count every second till I see you again. I'm tired of hiding my feelings. I'm tired of hidden misery. I don't care if this sounds no wide. That's the way it is. That's how it's gonna be.
As I said right at the top of the show, you are the person who, you're the lyric writer, you're the singer, you're the, you know, one of the guitarists and such. Is this something that, and something you've done all your life? Were you the kind of person who wrote stories or lyrics or poems, you know, before you started playing music?
Yeah, I've always been writing ever since I was like, you know, could write at all. You know, until I was into poetry, and music. But like, because the Beatles, it was just at the end of the Beatles era, when you know, when I was growing up in Liverpool, and everybody was still totally obsessed with them. You know, I was walking around with this like plastic Beatle wig that my mum plunked on my head.
You had a plastic? Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and a tennis racket, you know, and I used to have to stand up and sing Beatles songs and stuff. Oh yeah.
But the family encouraged you in this, obviously.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got 3 sisters, and they all used to listen to totally different stuff. You know, one of them was really into Motown. The other one was listening to like Joni Mitchell and Cat Stevens and things like that. And you know, so I was listening to loads and loads of stuff, even when I was, you know, very small, and I'd be singing whatever they were singing. And it was a big thing. And the great thing was that my dad never, ever said, turn it down. You know, I'd be, which was great, and I'd be sitting there with my mates, and he'd walk in, and all my mates would go, and he'd go, turn it up, that's good, turn it up, and like the music would be blasting out, so, you know, he was a big encouragement.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a certain aura about Liverpool. I mean, is that, I mean, that we have out in North America. I mean, to what extent does that hold true?
Well,
is there something really different about what Liverpool is?
Yeah, I think Liverpool's like almost a republic in its own right in England. It's got its own culture and its own humour. And I see people from Liverpool, the only way out, because it's been like a really tough area, the only way out would be through music or boxing or football.
There is a place I know where only the lonely go. You could see right through them. Are you lonely now? Are you lonely now? Are you lonely now? Are you lonely now?
People's habits are completely different, and Sheffield was, to me, was totally different. But again, it's a northern city. It was an industrial city, ex-industrial city. You know, it was really well known for its steel, and it basically gone through the same stages as Liverpool in the 70s. You know, things had started to go wrong, and people were losing their jobs, and so that was you know, similar.
Is this where you joined your first band?
Yeah, it was. I was working in a department store called Cole Brothers, and I was a section manager there, and I used to be in charge of the of lawnmowers in the summer,
Lawnmowers.
and Christmas trees in the winter. Great job.
Did you press leaves in the fall?
Oh yeah, I used to, yeah, man for all seasons.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, he worked on the other side of the floor. He was on the boys' wear department, and like he was in a band. He was in like a sort of happening local band, and I used to go and see them now and again. And at that time, I was just writing all the time, and I used to get in trouble in work because I used to disappear, and I'd just carry on writing. I was writing lyrics for other writers, and I was writing poetry, and I'd started writing a book.
What was the attraction? I mean, to write. I mean, what was the incentive?
It was just like a totally natural thing that I just started doing it, and I couldn't stop. Like, I'd just wake up in the middle of the night and have to write things. Like, I just had piles of paper everywhere with all sorts of strange things. And I've got bits and bobs, you know, at home now, and I've got some stuff in my mum's house, and I find it and read it, and I think, God, what was wrong with me? What was I doing?
But is it something that carries over to this day? I mean, do you still write sort of compulsively, or?
Yeah, but I can't, nobody can say to me, like, go and write a song about this, that, or the other, you know, it just happens.
I surrender this moment to you. Let no one deny you in days of no hope and solitude. The words I have spoken, and though love lies bleeding somewhere far, unfair and unfaithful, untrue, when friends are all leaving, confusion is reeling, I surrender, I remember you. And the world was a token in our game of passion and dreaming. In the end, I guess we were too much the same, and the rules had no meaning. Oh, we laughed and we cried just like children, too young to notice the truth. When the last train is leaving, when we all stop believing, I surrender, I remember you. When my dreams have all faded out of view, I remember you. Yeah. Baby, don't cry. 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 Baby, don't cry.
writing lyrics for a guy called Chris Mann, who was doing his own stuff. And basically I just write them and send them in the post, and he'd send me these demo tapes back. And then I got talking to Andy and, about his band, and I did some backing vocals for this Chris Mann guy, because I mean I knew I could sing in tune and stuff. And I also started getting into percussion as well. My parents bought me some congas, so I started playing those. So Andy split his band and decided to get me and this Chris Mann in. Chris was going to do the lead vocals. I was going to play percussion and write the lyrics for the band and do some backing vocals and stuff. And after a week, they sort of said to this Chris Mann guy, "Well, we want John to sing instead." So it was a bit embarrassing, but it, you know, from there it just sort of took off. And that band, we started a band called Ministers of Inspiration, which they were a real fun band. You know, it was a little sort of local thing, all original material, but like a real good night out.
Right. So did the lineup that became Boyd, I mean, it's the four of you as the core, are the core. Did it just sort of naturally, you know, develop? I mean, you and Andy, and then, or was there a real deliberate attempt to find people that were really compatible and had the same sense of direction?
Yeah. Well, once me and Andy got a sort of writing partnership happening, and you know, we realised that the songs were actually really good. We decided to leave the Ministers and just set up on our own and write, and then get a band together. So we wrote a few songs and then decided to look for a guitarist. And we auditioned loads and loads, and then Pete came down one day, who plays the Spanish guitar in the band now. He didn't come down with a Spanish guitar, he came down with a Strat. And he played, and like me and Andy just looked at each other and thought, wow, he's really good. And we'd been really into a band that he'd been in before, a band called Mirror Cracked. So we asked him.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Somehow I have, yeah.
Yeah, they were on a sort of indie scene in Britain. And he was really into what we were doing, so he joined, and there were three of us then. So we decided to get a drummer, and there was only one drummer. We all knew who we wanted, but unfortunately he was in a band that you know, was doing really well in the north anyway. So we just asked him to come to a few rehearsals. We didn't mention that we wanted a drummer, and he really got into the stuff. So we stole him from this band, which caused a lot of bad feeling. But you know, we just definitely wanted him.
Tell me, is it a crime now, baby, to set that little girl inside you free? Well, I've been waiting for such a long, long time for heaven's gate to open for me. Yeah. Don't run, step out of line. All the best things come in time, and I need you more than ever.
Today's performers featuring Boy and a Dolphin continues tomorrow. Same program time, 5:30 BCTV.